I'd like to call the meeting, Board of Education meeting for April the 5th to order. We thank all of you that are present. We're going to ask that you would observe a moment of silence with us. Amen. Let us stand for a moment for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, we want to thank you. I want to take note tonight that Dr. Moss had some business that he had to attend to out of town, and so he's not with us on tonight. He asked to be excused, and we allowed that. Want to thank Ms. Emily Grimes, who is here on behalf of Fort Bragg, Alexia, who is here from Sanford Herald, and all of you that have gathered to be part of this Board of Education meeting on this evening. We have 3 signed up for public comments. Just want to ask in way of public comments that you have 3 minutes. I want to ask that Attorney Love would serve as our timekeeper for you is doing your public comments. You will speak to us, but we will not engage in a dialogue. And our first person, to speak will be Laura McCauley.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Laura.
I'm here to, again, it's April, and it is Autism Awareness Month. I did not prepare a speech as I usually do because I've been up here so many times. But just to give you an overview that autism is still prevalent, that it occurs in 1 out of 110 births, and that 4 out of the 5 are usually boys who suffer from autism. It is a communication disorder, and it exists on a spectrum going from extreme, moderate, to mild, to the Asperger's syndrome. Lee County Schools has tried, but I'm still having some difficulty in getting principals, some teachers, SROs, and other school personnel to understand the complexity of autism. I think we still need to work on especially getting people who come into our schools that have never heard of autism before educated on how to work with our children, because it's increasing, not decreasing. We also need to work, and I've said it before, on alternate discipline plans for these students with autism, because they are on a totally different level than the regular population. And it's my hope that we will still work as a community and as a school to help these children so that they can become viable, productive citizens for Lee County. Also this month, April 1st and 2nd was Lighted Up Blue, sponsored by Autism Speaks. And in recognition of Autism Awareness Month, and for you, I have blue candles so that you can remember us this month and for always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all can light it up blue.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. It's always nice to receive a gift. And so we thank you, Laura. Bob Berkey.
I don't have a speech either. I had, I know everybody's glad. But I've spoke several times and concerned about the problems we had and things we need to improve and things that weren't going too well that could go better. And I just want to report to you that I'm a parent of a 12-year-old boy who's has Asperger's syndrome, which is affecting autism. And we've had some rough times as we come along in school, and at times we feel like, well, I think some of the school people, it's impossible. It never amounts to anything. And but I just want to let y'all know that if you stick with it long enough, work hard enough, they can mount to something. And our son now is in the 7th grade at Wesley Junior High. And the first semester he went to the Graces Christian, because I thought a small school might help him. He wanted to go back to Wesley because that's where his friends were. And if an autistic child values their friends, that's a real big step. And he made good grades at Grace, and we just got his report card today. He made all A's. And I want to thank the people in the school system that's helped him, and in particular at Bullock, Mrs. Pam Sutton. She and her staff were very instrumental in getting him to improve his behavior and his attitudes and so forth. And he's now with Melvin Marshall over at Wesley, and I don't think you could have a better person. He's understanding, he's interested, and encouraged. So some things go well, and I think we haven't really succeeded as far as we want to, but we're on the road to success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That concludes, oh, sorry. Hi, Miss Vicki. Vicki Wilkins.
Good evening, Chairman Williams, members of the board. Tell you, I must be in good company. I was with you last evening, this evening. I hope tomorrow we might get a break. But having said that, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity for us to be able to share with you last night at the public hearing. The students today at school, that was on everybody's lips. And everybody's computer was broke to anything and everything that had to do with last night. It is amazing when you think about what we as educators and as a school system try to do. We will find any way that we can to teach. And I happened to be walking down the hallway today, and my laptop, of course, was on me, and somebody came up and it's like, "It's beautiful, can I borrow your laptop real quick?" And I'm like, "You need my laptop?" Yes, we've got to see what was on the news last night. And so the opportunity to take and to share, as we did, you will never know the impact that had last evening. And that young man from J. Glenn Edwards, he might have you all pegged. He might be your doctor one day. He could be your doctor one day. Having said that, speaking now as the president of the local NCAE, we're up against some difficult issues and times, as we all well know. And we lost a huge battle that we have stood our ground for the last 15 years with health insurance. And somebody said to me, "Well, y'all can't win everything." And I said, "Well, it's not that we win, it's what we try to do for everyone. It's not just those of us who are in it now, but those who will come and those who have already gone forward." And so in saying that, I just want to encourage you, on May the 3rd, we have the One Voice rally that is taking place at the legislature. In 1986, I marched whenever Governor Hunt, he's a friend of mine, but sadly had to freeze those salaries. And we decided it was time to be more visible. And over 5,000 educators marched. That sent a huge message. We were the coverage of everything, every newspaper. Well, it's not a matter about coverage, but it's where and what will our children be in years to come. And if we don't stand, parents don't stand, school boards, all of us who are involved, if we don't let ourselves be heard and be seen, I'm afraid things will be very different. So Dr. Moss, I talked with him. I said, "Do we have any activity buses available?" Because he's going to let us borrow the activity buses. We told him we will pay for the fuel. We'll do whatever we have to do to be able to get there, to be a part of that. And we don't want 5,000 people that day. We want 25, 35, 40,000 people, because we need to be heard. I'm afraid some people are not listening. But I thank you for your ears. I thank you for what you do. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to prepare a budget when you don't even know what you have to work with. But I know that we will work together and continue to do all that we can for our county. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank all of you that have shared with us in the public comments. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda for April 5th, 2011.
Moved and properly second that we approve the agenda. You've heard the motion. Ready for the question? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, you have the same sign. Ayes have it. The approval of minutes for March the 8th, 2011 and March the 10th, 2011.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of March the 8th, 2011, and also March the 10th, 2011.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Any questions? Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, you have the same sign. As shared earlier, our superintendent is not here, but we do have those that are in place to continue on with the superintendent's report. That being said, I'd like to call Dr. Lynn Warren.
Chairman Williams and board members, this evening it is my distinct pleasure, and I'd like for those two wonderful ladies to join me up here, Lindsay and Haley. I'm going to talk about you, and everyone can watch and see how great you are. I have the pleasure tonight to introduce to you the students selected to attend the Governor's School this summer. We have two very remarkable young ladies here. We have Haley Edwards and Lindsay Brunson. And I'm going to tell you some things about them that are very impressive, but first I'm just going to briefly tell you a little bit about Governor's School. The Governor's School of North Carolina is the oldest statewide summer residential program for academically and intellectually gifted high school students in the nation. This program which is open to rising seniors only, with limited exceptions, is located on two campuses, and Governor's School West is at Salem College in Winston-Salem, and Governor's School East is at Meredith College in Raleigh. Governor's School West began in 1963, and Governor's School East began in 1978. The program is administered by the State Board of Education and the Department of Public Instruction through the Exceptional Children's Division. A Board of Governors appointed by the State Board of Education acts as an advisory body. Each year, Lee County students apply for this prestigious program, and the competition is really intense. There's 600 students selected across the state to participate. So it's rigorous. You have the brightest and most outstanding AIG students in the state of North Carolina applying for a limited number of positions, and we have two of them standing right here. For the 2010-2011 school year, Lee County is proud to be represented at each of the governor's schools, both East and West, by these two exceptional students. I'm going to talk a little bit about Lindsay first and just tell you her accomplishments, and then I'll share about Haley. Lindsay Brunson is the daughter of Martha and Thad Brunson, and parents are here as well as kind of a cheering section from the school. So they're right back there, very proud parents. She has been selected to attend the East Governor's School in the area of English. So she attends Lee County Senior High School, and she has distinguished herself in a number of ways, both at school and in the community. She has participated in the Sanford School of Classical Ballet, and both of these ladies are very well-rounded. That's one remarkable thing as you read their accomplishments. She has done recitals and participated in the annual production of the Nutcracker. She's volunteered at the Breadbasket, and she is a piano accompanist at St. Stephen's Catholic Church, where she is also the youth board member and a member of the choir. She acted in the Lee County High School production No Nanette, and participated with the Festival Singers, which is our community Christmas choir. Lindsay has been on the A Honor Roll and has received the Color Guard Most Dedicated Award as a member of the marching band. She has served as secretary for the Interact Club and holds a membership in the Key Club, the Art Club, the International Thespian Society, and the National Honor Society. She has been a Mock United Nations participant and a steering committee member. Lindsay balances her extracurricular activities with exemplary academic performance, and she deserves a big hand. Haley Edwards, who's the daughter of Lisa and Todd Edwards, right back here, has been selected to attend Governor's School West in the area of English. Haley attends Lee Senior High School as well. Haley has distinguished herself, again, both through the school and community involvement. She is a member of the Key Club, Leo's Club, the Quiz Bowl, and Health Occupation Students of America, and was elected secretary of this organization in 2009-2010. Additionally, she has participated in the Mock United Nations and is a member of the National Honor Society. Haley swims in the Lee County High School varsity swim team and was elected Women's Varsity Swim Team Captain. She was selected to receive the Most Valuable Swimmer Award and Varsity Letter for 2008-2009 and 2009-2010. Her community activities include participation in the Sanford School Classical Ballet, including annual productions of the Nutcracker. She has served as a volunteer at the Lee County Special Olympics. Haley has worked as an assistant swim instructor at the summer swim camp in Sanford and currently works with children ages 4 and older as a swim instructor. She is a Red Cross certified lifeguard, and she deserves a round of applause. We're very fortunate to have you represent Lee County. They're also very good friends, but they'll be on different campuses this summer for 6 weeks. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sharon Spence for the classroom webpage.
Good evening. Once again, it's my pleasure to present our classroom webpage winner for this month. And I'm pleased to introduce to you Mary Ann Miller. Mrs. Miller is in the science department at Lee County High School. And joining her is Bonnie Boggs, who is technology facilitator at Lee County High School, and Kathy Parker, who is the web manager at Lee County High School. And of course, all of you know Mr. Batten, principal at Lee County High School. As we reviewed this month's nominations, we always look at the web pages through the eyes of a parent and a student to make sure that the web page contains all of the information that we feel that's necessary to keep parents and students updated, engaged, entertained. And this month, it was particularly rewarding for me as the parent of a high school student to look at Mrs. Miller's web page and find on there, my child does not have her as a teacher, but if she did, to find on there everything that I would need to know as a high school parent for my daughter Marley. So it was a very clear decision this month. The web pages are just getting better and better, and it's challenging every month to come up with the winner, but Mrs. Miller's web page certainly stood out. Mrs. Parker, as the web manager, is essential in keeping Lee County High School's web page up to date and works with the classroom teachers. But for the first time, we've brought in the technology facilitator, Ms. Boggs, because the technology facilitators are also essential to developing the classroom web page. And so we wanted to recognize all of these ladies for what they have done at Lee County High School in keeping our parents and students up to date through the web pages. And I don't know if Mrs. Miller or anyone, Mr. Batten, would like to say anything.
Just briefly, and if you're okay, I'll just speak from here, I'd like to thank Ms. Spence for allowing the entire group here. As we talked about Ms. Parker, Ms. Miller's certainly done a fine job, but what Ms. Parker and Ms. Boggs jointly have done with the technology growth in the system without people in their positions, they're the ones who take the time, the effort to train others throughout the school day and make training available. And certainly we're getting excellent use out of that technology for these people. So I'm glad that we're able to recognize all three, the teacher, the trainers, and the web page manager. So thank you for having us.
And finally, Ms. Miller, I would like to present you with just a token of our appreciation for all that you do. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Jim Atkinson, Clean School of the Month recipient.
Good evening to you.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure again to be able to present this award, and for the second time out of 3 months.
Yes, sir.
Floyd Knight has outshined them all. We have 11 schools that have scored over 90 points. This is the second month in a row that has happened too. And we didn't have any schools that scored under 70 points, which is saying again the competition, which last month I tried to do a good job and didn't do a good job explaining that. But all the schools are looking cleaner and cleaner. And we certainly do appreciate the efforts of the custodial staff and the supervisory staff that helps them along with our maintenance staff. So we want to present them with an award today, Mr. Clifton Hooker and Mr. Harry Sellers, and if anything, Ms. Cotton would like to say.
I would just like to say to the board, to let you know that these gentlemen are more than just custodians at Floyd Knight. Both these gentlemen are wonderful role models for our male students. They're part of our crisis team. And if you will come on campus, you will see how important both their roles are in the everyday life of the students and staff at Floyd Knight. I want to thank them both.
You guys got 100?
All right.
I was being nosy, bro.
All right, congratulations again to Floyd Knight. I understand from some of the principals that there are emails that go back and forth after this award is given. So there's a lot of friendly competition between the principals on getting this award, especially between Floyd Knight and Deep River. Congratulations. We're going to hear our committee reports. We'll start with Dr. Lynn Smith.
No, we're not ready.
No, it's just for information. Everybody. Committee reports, Dr. Linda Smith, Curriculum and Instruction.
Mr. Chairman, the C&I has not met since our last meeting. However, the high school C&I will be meeting tomorrow at 3:30 at the Southern Lee High School campus.
Thank you. Mr. Bernardi, Facilities and Technology.
Mr. Chairman, Facilities and Technology met on March the 29th. We had quite an extensive agenda, and most all of it is before you tonight, either under consent agenda, under new business. I'll just review a couple items, won't read through each one, but we discussed the Carpentry House project houses at both Southern Lee High School and Lee County High School, and with approval tonight from the board, each of those will go up for auction. One at Southern Lee on May the 21st, and the one at Lee County High School on August the 6th. We also had an update on the construction project at Lee County High School from Mr. Pittman, and just in the way of information, there's going to be some tours scheduled, board member tours. They'd like to take 2 or 3 of us at a time, and they're going to try to schedule those the first week of May for any of the board members who are interested. And also Jerry, Mr. Pittman will be here to give a construction update to the entire board on May the 10th. We also discussed the Lee County High School, the auditorium sound system and stage lighting, which will be before you tonight under consent agenda, and also the stage curtains. And also before you tonight under new business is some additional parking lot paving there at Lee County High School. And that's my report for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Bernardi. Finance and Personnel, Mr. Tatum.
Yes, the Finance Committee has not met since the last board meeting. I do bring to attention tonight yet another revised budget calendar as a result of last night's work session. It was felt last night for those in the audience that we needed to make some corrections and changes in the calendar. I just bring to the board's attention that on April the 14th, that will be another work session that had been scheduled. The format for consideration is the capital outlay by line item for our discussion, followed by, we will then go into our operating budget on fixed costs by line item before adjourning. We will then follow on April 18th. Again, that's a date that's already been established. It's just that the agenda was changed to another work session for, and we will continue the operating budget by the line item for variable expenses. It's our intent at this time, in consultation with Tammy Howington and Dr. Moss, that on April the 26th, we will have a call board meeting. At that time, it would not be a work session necessarily, but a call board meeting. Hopefully that we can adopt the local budget request. We feel that there's a possibility that by the 26th, we're going to have a good handle on what the state is proposing. Again, as we discussed last night, there's pretty firm signals coming out of Raleigh that it's going to be a 10% cut, but we don't have that confirmed. So hopefully by the 26th we can put all of our efforts to work and complete. Notice that on April 28th, if the budget is adopted, the budget request is adopted, then the staff will post the budget on our web page for the public's consumption. Let me just add that there was communication today between the county manager and the superintendent, and the county manager has recognized the difficulty this year in formulating a budget, and he would like for us to have some defined budget request by the end of the month. Recognizing, he did state that, recognizing that if it has to wait until the May the 15th, it would be uncomfortable for him, but he would understand if we could not come to a budget request before the 15th deadline of May. That being said, without unless the board dissents or has reason to object, the budget calendar will be adopted tonight as the result of being asked last night to prepare this revised budget calendar. And that completes my report.
Policy, Dr. Smith.
Mr. Chairman, the Policy Committee met on Tuesday, March 15th. We welcomed a new member to our committee, which is a little unusual this time of year, but it's Anjanette Porter from Lee Early College. The committee discussed the development of testing policy for Lee County Schools athletes, which obviously is a very controversial issue. Dr. Atkinson reviewed policies in place in other districts. Dr. Moss advised the committee on what types of policy was implemented in different places he has served. The committee discussed the pros and cons, certainly the cost of testing, possible consequences, how the athletes would be tested, and proposed implementation date. At that point, I appointed a committee composed of course, Dr. Atkinson, Ann Bill, Anjanette Porter, Mike Williams, and Reed Cagle. We will also have high schools representatives from Southern Lee and Lee County High Schools, and the middle schools for a middle school representative, and athletic directors for a representative. The committee is fully aware of the budget constraints we currently are under, but it still seemed like a timely consideration for at least to discuss development of policy. Mr. Chairman, our next meeting will be on April 26, 2011 at 3:15.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Tatum, you have anything new from the state?
I do not. The We have not met since the last local board meeting. Tomorrow and Thursday will be the State Board of Education's monthly meeting.
Thank you. This time we have 2 positions on the community college that will be expiring here. And I'd like to appoint an ad hoc committee on June the 30th. Those positions expires, and that would be of Jan Hayes and Tony Lett that are serving now on the community college as trustees, as our appointees. I'd like to appoint on the ad hoc committee Mr. Bernardi and Mr. Akinosho to serve on the ad hoc committee to select our next 2 trustees and to bring back to the board by our June 14th meeting. Thank you. Entertain a motion for the approval of our consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Move the properly second that we would approve the consent agenda as written. Heard the motion, and any questions? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, you have the same sign. Dr. Smith, policy second reading.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the second reading of policy 7410, 7811, 7920, 7921, and 7950.
It's coming from committee. I don't need a second. Are there any questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same sign. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Have to have a motion first for this one, and then we'll go into discussion on the traditional year-round and the early college calendar. I'm going to make a motion to discuss this one.
Mr. Chairman, I move Lee County Board of Education to approve the 2012-2013 traditional and year-round and the 2011-2012 Lee early college calendars for second reading.
Second. I didn't know if we needed a second. It's been 2 long days. It's been moved to properly second that for the approval of the calendars. Is there any questions? And Mr. Bryan is here to field if there are any. Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, you have the same sign. Thank you. We have before you, in our way of our new business, we were looking at trying to do a joint resolution to go to the state. Well, let me do it this way. As chair, can I make it? No, I can't. Would you please?
Mr. Chair, I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the joint resolution between the Lee County Board of Commissioners and the Lee County Board of Education supporting public education in Lee County.
It's been moved and properly second that we would approve a joint resolution supporting public education. And I need to say to the board at this time that the county commissioners have sent a letter from Linda Shook on behalf of the county commissioners outlining these 6 points already to Mike Stone and to Senator Atwater based off of a meeting that we had previously. So their take was that their letter would stand for them. And so instead of it being a joint resolution, it would just be a resolution from the Lee County Board of Education. Right, it's a joint resolution. Further discussion, so it's, Ms. Bernardi, would just be, in your motion, would you consider a friendly amendment just for it to be a Lee County Board of Education? Any further discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed have the same sign. I think it would be in order that we would read the resolution for those that, especially those in our audience that are not aware. Resolution supporting public education in Lee County. Whereas the Lee County Board of Education affirmed that public education is a priority in our community. Whereas in Lee County, we believe education is economic development. And whereas recruitment and retainment of business and industry to promote economic growth in Lee County hinges largely on the county's ability to provide an educated and trained workforce. And whereas our public schools are vital in preparing students to enter the workforce ready to take on the needed job responsibilities. And whereas a progressive and innovative school system is also critical to enhancing the quality of life in Lee County, another key factor in recruitment efforts. And whereas Lee County School has shown tremendous, measurable, and sustainable improvement in preparing students for the 21st century through a decline in the dropout rate, an increase in graduation rate, and an increase in student achievement. And whereas actions taken by the North Carolina General Assembly will determine the continued accomplishments of our students and the success of public education in Lee County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lee County Board of Education adopt the following legislative agenda. One that the board finds critical for public education in Lee County. 1, support our classrooms by protecting class size to optimize student learning and continuing state funding for teachers and teacher assistants. 2, support an increase in the number of charter schools under certain conditions. 3, oppose efforts to pass on workers' compensation for teachers and state employees to the local level. 4, oppose efforts to pass on tort claims to the county level. 5, support funds for school construction. 6, continue the current arrangement for school bus purchases. Be it further resolved that the Lee County Board of Education calls on the Lee County Legislative Delegation and all members of the North Carolina General Assembly to take the actions necessary to accomplish this agenda. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Mr. Bernardi.
Would it be possible to get a copy of the letter that the commissioner sent?
Yes, I can, and I'll get that to Susan that she can scan and email to us.
Thank you.
But it reads pretty much the same with those the same 6 key points.
Right.
Dr. Lynn Smith?
We're not voted.
I thought we did. I'm sorry. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to have the same sign. I thought we did. My fault.
That's okay.
All right. Lee County High School parking lot paving. Is this coming from facilities or from?
It is not. It will take a motion of the board, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Dr. Smith?
And I move that the Lee County Board of Education award the Lee County High School parking lot paving bid to SD Wooten Corporation in the amount of $195,000, $526.94.
I'll second that with a statement, please. I understand that Mr. Bernardi feels that he needs to recuse himself. I recognize that, but I also want to state that it's not legally required. Mr. Bernardi is not an owner of ST Wooten. I'm sure he wished he had some share of it, but it does not violate a conflict of interest. But for the public's awareness, it's my understanding that the reason it didn't come from committee is Mr. Bernardi chose to recuse himself.
Mr. Chair, I would like to request to recuse myself from voting on this matter because I am an employee of this company. I had nothing to do with this proposal, but just to remove any appearance of any impropriety, I would request to refrain from voting on this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Bernardi. Thank you, Mr. Tatum, for the explanation. You've heard the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I noticed on some of the bids that we have 3 people, and on this one it's just 2. Is there any kind of policy or
Smith?
anybody? Is there any reason we just have 2 bids on this contract? As I look through some of the other ones, like the stage curtains, there's 3 bids.
it was my understanding it was put out for bids in the normal fashion.
And we only got 2 back?
That's my understanding.
Only had 2 replies from that, from American South had originally was proposed with the project, and then S.T. Wooten was brought in as a secondary bid, and there was not another bid, no one else replied.
Yeah, I just noticed that on most of these, there's 3, and on this one's 2. Just wanted to raise a question.
And this was not part of the original contract for the restoration of the high school, was it, Dr. Atkins?
That is correct. It was at one point, but it was taken out.
Right. So it was taken out of the original bid for the general contractor and then put up for bids.
Thank you.
And now through the years, there have been other times that there's been 2, and we've had that. So I thank you for the question. Any other questions? All those in favor, let be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposers have the same sign. Thank you, Dr. Smith. All right. Dr. Linda Smith, believe you have a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of discussing information that is privileged, confidential, or not a public record under NCGS Section 143-318, decimal 11A1.
Thank you.
Second.
Any opposers to it? Closed session. All right. We are back in open session, and I believe we have a motion from Dr. Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the human resource report as presented.
Second.
Moved and it's been moved and probably second that we approve. Motion made by Dr. Smith, sent by Dr. Linda Smith. It's been moved and probably second that a personnel report be approved as presented. Any questions? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Tatum.
Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Now stand adjourned.